Okay, here's the last part of the blue stripes. So I've mixed let's go to a smaller brush. I've mixed a color here. It's sort of a blue-green. I thought that might look good. And then I decided, you know, it might be just a little too strong in color, a little too bright. Well, I just happen to have some purple over here, reddish purple. And red and green, you know, they make blah. So let's put a little bit of, just a little bit of the purple into this and see if it'll just bring it down a notch. Oh, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to look and see, huh? So, oh, well, you know, I didn't want them to be that bright. I think I'll put a little more purple in it and see what it does. Well, now that's kind of grayed. Not sure how I feel about that. It certainly doesn't look like a pod, does it? I sort of forgot my whole plan on this. Well, I'll go ahead and let's go halfway down that stem and let's just pick up a little Quinn Gold and add into that and pull it on down so that we got a color change going on here. And see, I hadn't meant to get all of the pod that dark. I had meant to make the pod darker out here. I'll tell you what, because I wasn't thinking, I'll make it lighter for now and then I'll come back and I'll darken that edge in a little bit. So, you know, I kind of like this color, but I like the idea of some Quinn Gold into part of it. I'm trying to clean up that edge a little bit. I kind of got it out of the line there and there. Okay, that's not too bad. But the plan is that the parts of the stems that are in the light areas are going to be darker than the parts of the stems that are in the blue areas. You know, I think that this color that by itself might be pretty good in here. Oh, I don't know. Can't make up my mind. I think it needs more yellow in it. I think that's too close to like the blue when they're almost the same value. So we'll just mix up something else over here. So you can see this is kind of haphazard. There's some new gamboge that was already in here. Well, that's a really dull green. That might be good too, though. Let's do a little of that. And, yeah. I'm going to put some gold in it. When in doubt, I go for the gold. And the reason here being is that I did want the color to contrast a little bit with the blue, a little bit more with the blue. So let's see what we got here. So you can see my process. It's, you know, it's just try something and see what happens. That's my process. Well, not entirely, but... Okay. So let's go down the line here and let's look. I think that this is going to work, and I like that blue, purpley, that kind of grayed turquoise there. So what I want though is I want in the areas over the blue for the stems to be a little bit lighter. You know, that could be even lighter than that. Oh, that's perfect there. Here, let's bluff this one too. Yeah, let's make it a little bit lighter. That's a little brighter there too. So, you know, on this one, on that thin stripe, I think I'll just keep this all pretty much the same coming through here. I don't want to make every bit of it a formula. We'll go here, and then maybe we'll try a touch of this stuff. I've still got a little of the other color in my brush. And what I should have done was let them dry in between. Okay, well, we won't make that mistake again, will we? That's actually, oh, that's right. This was going to be darker. Well, I wasn't going to divide the stem up on this stripe, but here I did it. And then I let it go up here anyway. And I think I'm going to be happy with that like that. So I'm going to leave it, even though it wasn't what I planned. And part of this, too, is that if you totally do it by a formula as dark over light and light over dark, it can get not good after a while. So my thinking is that we do some of this, but we don't necessarily do it everywhere. And my other thought is that too big of a change? Should it be a little more subtle? Yeah, maybe there. And that is the marvel of a paper towel. And here I just ran on down. I didn't switch colors again. That little narrow stripe, and it's down here at the edge, and oh, okay. I hope this works out, because I really don't want to do this whole thing over again. So I'm trying to be kind of neat with these stems. And this was really supposed to be two separate stems, and I ran them into each other, which poppies probably don't do, but I don't care. You want the brush to be juicy enough that the paint will flow down off the brush. That's a little bluer this time. Cool. Okay. Oh, no, I don't want to divide that pot up. I'm going to ignore what it's supposed to do here. Let's go to this one. We'll think about it. And then here, let's just run it on top of the poppy and think of that as all light. Okay. Now I'll go back to my duller green. So you're not necessarily doing exactly what I do. You're getting the idea of it, the spirit of it, and you're kind of experimenting too. That is, I hope you're getting in the spirit of it and experimenting too. I might put something on top of that. That's a little boring. Or let's just pick up a little bit of our other color And let's just let it, like we can even tilt and let it flow. And, oh, well, that's going to kind of work. So I did a gentle transition there, but see, that's much more interesting. Is that showing up? Yeah, okay. So let's see now. Do the lighter color here. You know, those colors are so different that it kind of doesn't feel like it's part of the same thing, does it? It doesn't bother me over here, but right there it does. Maybe because that Quinn Gold is in behind it, but I'm going to take just a touch of Quinn Gold and put in here. Let's spread it around. Yeah, maybe just a touch more. There. So, oh yeah, that's much better. I like this blue-green, but that divides up more believably. In fact, that's so much more believable that I'm going to go back and do it over here. Over here. Let's put a little in there and there and there. So I dropped it in. Maybe you wouldn't want to do that much at a time, but you might just adjust your colors to where you don't have to do what I just did. Yeah. So really what the blue needs is a little yellow in it, but I like it so much I don't want to mess it up yet because I might change my mind. But you can see here, see, I've got the yellow in the stems. So, tell you what, we'll just start out with a little yellow in this stem. I don't want that strong. So I'm going to, let's get a little, there should be a little more stem going down here. All right, let's add a little water to it and give it a blot. Okay, that's perfect. So now I'll pick up this other color and put into it. It's just got a little bit more yellow. It's just more compatible with what we've already got. Oh, and here was a flower. And then, of course, we need the blue up here. And this one, it's this blue. Or I call it a blue. It's a muted turquoise. A grayed turquoise. Because I made that all dark already, see, so I'm just going to stick with it, and then adding a little bit more water. Here we go. So, okay, this is beginning to work. Now, before I even go and finish that up over here, I'm going to play a little bit with the Quinn Gold again and the flowers, because we haven't done anything to the flowers in this. The idea is that the flower also gets a darker area where the stripe is. So I want to be careful and try to kind of keep a straight line there. But I may not want to totally emphasize it everywhere. I want to be subtle with this and then see how I feel about it later. I might add some more to it. And this is the way you paint. You know, you do some stuff and you see if it's working or if you want to change it up. So, see, that kind of extends the white stripe and kind of runs into this. Like I said, I want to be careful about these little thin stripes, about emphasizing them too much, but here I go doing it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this stripe down a little ways, like that, and then I'm going to fade it out. So it doesn't have to be, you know, running all the way through, because I think that could kind of mess with it. So rather than doing this one down here, let's do this one, because that seems to work there. Let's do this one down here. I've got really, if I'd done a little bit neater edges on my stripe, and I don't mean not making the edges soft, but I meant where I just kind of didn't follow a straight line in the beginning, I think that this would probably read a little bit more, well, I think it'd read better. So again, I'm just going to pull that up a little ways here. Oh, I went quite a ways up. There, like that, and then stop. This little ditty right there, that's supposed to be this petal twisted, but my positioning there was not real good. So, I don't know if it makes sense. Okay, I kind of like what happened there. Let's do a little more of it right here. This is a design thing that you could use in a lot of places. Let's make this one, let's try something different here. Let's make this one go all the way across. But we won't define it on that side. We'll just make it a distinct edge on one side of the stripe. And then over here we'll just make it fade out. Yeah, okay. See, a little, but not, you see, if I did it everywhere, it wouldn't be right. It just wouldn't. Well, should we do this here? This kind of thing can be used to great effect. Shirley Trevena does a lot of it. And we're going to do some still lifes next, and we're going to kind of look at some Trevena techniques that you may or may not want to use, your choice. Okay, maybe that much, and yeah, right there. So it's just sort of backwards world. This place is crying out for it. In fact, I'll just go all the way down here. And then I'll fade it out across this way. Okay, now, in order to paint where you can see and where I can put my hand where I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to turn this upside down. That is upside down to me. I guess it's still sideways to you. So let's do a little of that here. I don't want to get it just, like I said, we have to watch that we don't get too mechanical with this. Too formulaic. Let's pull this over onto this one, because we'll just make that thing there get a little darker. And add some water. You know, I don't know if I'm as good at judging what's right on this when I'm upside down. Well, here's where the stripe would be. So let's just I don't know if the brain will perceive this the right way or not here. I gotta look at it right side up. That's pretty good. I'm not sure if I want to do it down here. I really don't know what I want to do there. I think I'll wait. So you can see I already did a little bit here over the dark, which that's the other thing. You could switch them back and forth around. What I did discover was that if you put much dark over dark, it gets kind of dull. Let's go here. We'll make this one a lot darker than that one. You know, they don't all have to be the same intensity either. Oh, well, I wasn't going to go over dark. Well, I just did. Okay. I wonder what it would be. And, you know, part of this is what is your brain going to do with this when it sees it? And I haven't figured that out, but I'm going to switch. That was on the over the dark area. I'll put this one down here over a light area. Here. Kind of painting an awkward angle here. Well, that's interesting. I think I like that. So, you know, you're just playing with this and putting some geometric structure into, you know, an organic thing there. And, well, and whatever happens, happens. Okay. So I think if one did very much of this, that they would probably have a better idea of how to make it really work. Maybe I'll come back and make that darker later. But see, this part's so dark that I can't really... Oh, I know. Maybe I'll make this one lighter then instead. In fact, I put my thumbnail down there on it. Right at the dividing line. I almost got an edge. Okay, so this one will keep light. Let's see. Oh, here's the green. And yeah, should it come down there and just dead stop and not fade out? Well, normally I would tell you no, but here, that's what I'm doing. So let's put the light green on everywhere, and then we'll put the dark on top of it as soon as it's dry. These are drying pretty fast today, despite the fact the humidity is really high. So I had another thought on some of this. I don't know. It's probably not going to work out very well. I have some coral, you know, my Quinn coral that I love. And what I thought, well, see, this area is got some purple in it. And I might transition this area a little bit more. Of course, that's because this one's over the blue. Well, maybe I'll make a transition. How about right here? So, again, I'm using the coral. And I'm just going to make the flower a little redder and this a little redder. I don't know if that really works. It could work, except that it's sort of countering what we're doing here by putting dark over light. Still, I might just tint some of the flowers. With a little bit more red to give them a little bit more dimension. And I'm being pretty subtle with this stuff. Oh, well, let's put a little red over here. Let's see what happens here. Putting red on the flower. See, that's just a real pale wash. And a pale wash, again, of, I'm calling it red coral. Over here on this part of the stripe. And then I'm going to soften the edges. Looks like a butterfly right now. Oh, I like that. I like that. See, the thing about this is, much as I love the colors in it, it's just a little bit, it's not monochromatic, but it just lacks a little something. And I think that adds a little something to it. I'll just come down here. A little purple right there. That's a bit dark. Let's just pick up a little of that, and then we'll soften the edge on this. This, by the way, when I photograph it, because I'm photographing with my camera, the reds have been going a little bit gray under my light. So it may not show up the reds to advantage when I bring it in the classroom. I think it does pretty well on the video. Now, the thing is, I don't want to go and change everything and put red everywhere. You know, I might get a little redder right there, though. I wonder if these should have been red poppies. Okay. So, yeah, right here between this and this, those are getting a little bit alike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, that's an excuse to put some red here. Because sometimes we just need to find an excuse to add something that's needed. And so, I'm real good at finding excuses for everything. So, might as well apply it to art. Okay. Yeah, that's just a little richer, a little nicer. Now, in the meanwhile, this has been drying. I think I need to put a little more water in my, remember this stuff, the grade turquoise. That's what I'm calling it. This one I've made lighter, so that really, if I start worrying about my paintings making sense, it's not a good idea, because they never do. So I'm just putting a little color change into this because it's just boring. And then that I'm leaving an edge on. You know, that's just a little bright. Let's put a little more purple in it. Whoa! Oh, I like that purple there, come to think of it. Yeah, I like that a lot. Maybe I should have been using purple all along. Well, you might want to use purple. So let's look at these, because these are boring. And I wonder if a little of this purple would make them happier, because I don't want my pods to be bored. An unhappy pod is not a productive pod. So I actually made that one darker up there. Throw a little bit right there too. I'd already just put yellow in it to make it more compatible. And here I'm messing with it. If you don't mess around with stuff, you don't learn it. Oh, well, that's good there. See, as long as I kept most of it the way that I did it, so that this was still part of this pod, in that the hue wasn't too far apart. But I put that little dot of purple up in there, and I like what it did. See, I'd love that if that was purple, but I've already covered it with too much color. And maybe a little yellow in that one. See, I'm just tinkering around, and I shouldn't say tinkering, I'm tweaking, you know. We're just finalizing the painting. We're doing those last little things that make it better. Sometimes you have to go off and leave it and come back and see. Oh, okay, I'm going to leave that just like that. I think that's pretty good. This one could use some help. I'm back into the purple. You know, that's a reddish purple. I'm back into the purple, and the purple over that yellow-green is probably just going to be pretty much gray. Still, I think that's more effective. You see how the more I play with it, the better it gets. I need to check my time on this. Well, I've got 32 minutes on this, so I need to stop it. But I just don't like this pod right here and right there. And I think they need a lost edge. So I've got Mr. Clean here. Let's see what we can do. Don't want to do too much. Kind of think this one needs it too. There. That's better. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do a little more tweaking on this, particularly this one. The petals need to differentiate a little bit more. I may find a thing or two. You notice I didn't spatter this time because I thought it would conflict with the stripes and with the design. So I'm going to work on this just a little bit, and then I'll do the printouts for classes. So this is more or less the finished piece. You notice that more or less. So I think that shows up pretty well. So that's the end of part 3. That's the end of Blue Stripes. Bye-bye.